Good afternoon. You know, have you ever had fresh lettuce from a garden or maybe a carrot, cucumber? Because nowadays in the stores, that stuff is so expensive. Have you ever thought about growing your own? Well, if you have, join me because my guest today will actually give you some tips on how to get started with doing that. So, welcome to Straight Talking with Kelly, where real conversations happen. This is where you'll meet some of the most interesting, talented, and creative people who come to share tips, resources, and knowledge on various topics, I'm sorry. So, join me today with my guest, Andiey Gay, as she will talk about the healing power and of Lord have mercy, I can't even say agricultural and horticultural tips and resources. So, Andiey, welcome.
Hello there. Thank you very much for having me.
I am looking forward to talking about it, and maybe I'll get those words right the next time I say it. How about that?
It's a bit of a tongue twister.
Oh, baby, baby, baby. So, Andiey, let me read a little bit about you to get the audience kind of geared up for who you are and what you do. So Andiey is the CEO of Andria's Arc Incorporated, a not-for-profit organization geared towards helping individuals obtain and maintain mental and spiritual healing through horticultural and urban agricultural activities. Yes, so this is going to be really interesting in terms of how you got started with doing that. So before we learn about health and spirituality, um, and how it can be connected to the garden, I'd like to walk down memory lane with Andiey because I recently met her when I was on a visit in Chicago with my daughter. She's actually my daughter's neighbor. And my daughter also is growing vegetables and fruits and things like that in her yard. But then she said, Mommy, you have to meet Andiey. You got to see what she's doing. And was I blown away? And so will you be when she gets started. So, Andiey, before we start showing them that wonderful garden of yours, tell me, where were you born and raised, and what schools did you attend, and all that other good jazz?
So I was born and raised right here, south side of Chicago, not particularly in this neighborhood. I now reside in Morgan Park. This is actually a neighborhood where, when I was a teenager, I would have gotten in trouble by my parents for being in because it is not the nicest all the time. But that's also what makes my organization so special is because of where I live now. Um, but I was born and raised in Chicago. I went to Park Manor Elementary up to fifth grade, Diet Middle School, sixth through eighth, Roosevelt High School, which I actually ended up dropping out of. So
Oh,
I received my GED from Dawson Technical Institute at, I think I was 29.
okay.
And I went to, after that, to pursue my dream of being a veterinary technician, childhood dream of being a vet tech. I went to Institute of Fox College out in Tinley Park, got my associate's degree there, and I have been on the ground running ever since.
Oh, that is so beautiful. That is beautiful. So that just goes to show you, you dropped out, but you dropped back in.
Exactly. You fall, but you get back up.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So now tell me, what is Andreas Arc and how did that organization come to be?
So Andria's Arc, like you said, not-for-profit organization. It's basically it's easier for me to tell you what it is by telling you how it came to be.
Okay, let's do that.
So it originated from me personally being in therapy sessions and choosing to do the therapy sessions in my garden.
Okay.
It was right after COVID, and so certain medical professionals were still offering telehealth at that time, and I was able to do weekly telehealth appointments and be in my garden while I was doing it. And there was so much healing and positivity and strength in that
Okay.
that it just occurred to me, you know what? There are other people who could benefit from the healing that I just received, and it birthed from there.
Nice. Nice. Wow. Wow. Okay. And so what is the tiny barn farm? What is that all about?
So the tiny barn farm, being that I am a veterinary technician, I do have a passion for animals. I have a love for animals, and I do have skill and knowledge to care for them. So when I decided to do the organization, I wanted to have a part, have the garden and the animals be a part of that therapy, that healing process. So
Okay.
my garage here in Chicago just so happens to look like a tiny barn. It is red and white. Even the windows got the little barn shape to it. And so I've always called it a tiny barn.
Okay.
And through that, I decided to go ahead and convert the garage into barn space and to operate from here through the organization, the Tiny Barn Farm. Now that's what the property itself is titled,
Okay.
and that's where we get all the food. That's where we get all the eggs from the chickens, all the herbs, all the flowers come from the Tiny Barn Farm, and through Andria's Ark, that's who operates the farm.
Okay, Miss Andrea, Andy, can you give us a view of some of this stuff you're talking about? Can we do that now?
Absolutely. So I'm actually standing on the side of my house now, watering. Um, this was literally last year, just grass
Okay.
from the back to the front of my house. Here, I'm going to unhook here.
Okay.
So this was literally just grass. It is now a little bit of an oasis, I call it. I've got my, I'm going to turn the water off so I can walk through there with you.
Okay.
I've got my
There's that
fruit
little tiny
trees.
barn. I just saw the red barn.
Yep, it's right behind me. There's there's our tiny barn.
Okay. And that's where the
there's
chickens are. I got to see those
yep,
chickens in there.
that's where the chickens are. I'm going to show
Okay.
you them as well.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, no, we on the side of my house, I have different varieties of things growing. I've got grapes, I've got lime, lemon, we've got carrots over here, elderberry. There's some peppers here. We've got some orange trees. I've even got a banana tree out here. I got a random tomato random tomato plant here. But we've got the fruit trees. This is the Valencia orange. Um, Here's the banana tree. She's growing. She was all the way down here at first, so we're doing good up here.
Okay.
Um, I've got peach trees over here as well. And if you look, you see these blueberries are starting to turn purple.
Oh, wow.
They're starting to
Beautiful.
get their color. So yeah, I've got just the fruits and veggies on the side, and I've got herbs up front. So I've got herbs in these two with the herbs and flowers. I like to do a combination of things. I kind of have like a food landscape thing going here where there's food mixed amongst the regular ornamental plants. Like
Okay.
here's mint and eucalyptus and
Okay.
petunias. So yeah,
Okay.
I've got plenty growing over here.
Okay. Wow. So now, as you were creating all of this, what were some of the challenges that you faced with getting
Oh my
this
goodness.
started?
The number one challenge was the neighborhood I'm in. It is, there have been times that I've been out here and there's been shootings, kind of close to my property. One was so close one day I actually had to duck while I was in my yard. So the neighborhood itself is kind of a struggle trying to just be safe in the environment of being outside all the time.
Okay.
Um, Behind that, it was really getting out of my own head that even though this is a small property, what I wanted to do could be done in a small space.
Okay.
So that was a huge hurdle that I had to get over. And then learning how to use what I have versus going out to spend. Um, the entire fence along the side of the house is actually made from dismantled dog kennels.
Okay.
So being creative like that, having to really dig deep into my imagination and utilize things in a different manner, that was a bit of a hurdle as well. Outside of that, it has really been me navigating this while I'm still working full time for someone else.
Okay, and that's where you're working at as the vet technician, right?
Right,
Working with
I'm still a
animals.
veterinary technician. I'm still
Right.
full time. So that
Okay.
has been the biggest struggle is the work-life balance because there's work, then there's technically work here,
Right.
and then
Right.
life outside.
Right. Right. And keeping up with all of that, because that's a lot, and it all looks so healthy and beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's been tough. And then I'm also operating on two different sites. So having to go back and forth between this site and the site that's in Harvey, Illinois, plus the vacant lot that I commandeered from across the street, it has been tough to balance it out. But I have figured out a rhythm, and I definitely have people that have been helping me. My husband, for one, has been an angel.
Yes.
And
Yes.
Brian has been an angel in all of this. He helps me water. He helps me keep up with if a plant is looking different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely doing. He helps me with the chickens. He does very, very well with helping me out with this and keeping my mind straight.
Now, so answer me this. What about pests and insects and all of that stuff? How do you keep your plants so healthy? Do the animals mess with
So
it?
I am what I say mostly organic. I do use diatomaceous earth, which is a food safe, um, pet safe as well, a pest repellent, pest deterrent. So
Okay.
I do use that, but I also use like just a homemade remedy of peppermint oil and vinegar. They don't like smells.
Okay.
Insects don't like smell. Like the ones that like smells are like the butterflies that are looking for nectar, the bees that are
Yeah,
looking for
something
nectar.
sweet.
But the
Yeah.
flies and the mosquitoes and stuff, they don't like the smells. And so the more aromatic, the
Okay.
better.
Okay.
And
Okay.
peppermint oil is my go-to.
Okay. Yeah. I've heard about peppermint oil for a lot of different pests, even for mice and rats and things like that.
And see, now that I don't have to worry about because I have the tiny barn boys. I
Okay.
have
Yes.
the five feral cats that live here at the tiny barn, and I haven't seen a rodent in maybe 2 years.
Okay. That's beautiful. That's
Yeah,
beautiful.
they work hard.
Okay. So now are you going to show us a little bit of the tiny farm so you can show your
Absolutely.
Michael Jackson tribute?
Absolutely. And actually, we can start here. Let me turn my camera around because there are a couple of tiny barn boys who are outside right now.
Okay.
But yeah, no, they definitely help with rodent patrol. They also help with protecting the chickens because if something comes looking for the chickens, they don't want to come any further when they see the cats. So
Right.
they are a big help on the farm too.
Now, I was amazed when I saw that the cats were actually in the same room with the chickens, kind of like you said, babysitting them.
They do. Here are the girls. I have to go in because you probably can't see through the
Okay.
screen. But
Okay.
here's those girls.
Yeah.
And they are in, this was our enclosed patio that sat off the side of our garage. And so we have completely turned it into the girls' aviary. They have the full run of this space. Um, there's even a couple of baby chicks
Oh, wow.
that are getting big down here.
Look at that.
Yeah, and we have to keep them separate because even though my chickens are super cute and sweet to me, they might be a little mean to the littler chickens. So we're
Oh,
keeping them
wow.
separate until they get bigger and are able to fend for themselves.
Okay. Now,
But
how
yeah,
many
this is
eggs do they produce? Like, what's your egg thing going?
so they usually do an egg a day. And I have five laying hens. So on a good day, I'll get five eggs.
Okay.
Um, they all love to lay in this little cat bed. This is their favorite spot. These are
Okay.
actually fake eggs that I bought to train them to show them where to lay it.
Oh, okay. Oh, that was smart.
Yeah, but they give me at least an egg a day between the five of them. And there are factors in that. If it's too hot or something like that, they might not lay. But
Okay.
generally, I get five a day.
Oh, wow.
Yes, ma'am, we hear you. Thank you very much for your opinions. Let me
So
close them
you
back
don't
up.
you ha so when the egg crisis was happening, it didn't affect you, did it?
Not at all. And I'm very blessed to say that. Not at all.
I know that's right.
Here is up against the um up against the actual tiny barn is the Michael Jackson garden.
Okay.
I am an avid Michael Jackson fan since I was 3 years old when Thriller came out. And I've been an avid fan ever since. And I know my number one favorite thing about him was his level of philanthropy and
Okay.
his love and care for the earth and the people on it and the animals on it. And I've adopted that feeling, that practice as well. And so I had to dedicate, once he passed away, of course, I had to dedicate a space in my yard just for him, just to pay homage to the greatness that was. And so that's what this is. And I know it looks a little rough right now, but that's because I wanted to keep it as natural as possible this year
Okay.
so that I could get these. So I don't know if you guys can see those.
Oh, so you're getting bees.
Those are actually monarch chrysalis. Those are monarch cocoons.
Okay.
So I will be getting monarch butterflies out of there.
Okay.
Yeah, those were caterpillars. They went into their little houses. There's these two that have attached themselves up to the top.
Right. I
And
can
then I
see
don't
those.
know if you're going to be able to see it at all, but there's a third one down at the bottom. So hopefully everybody hatches properly. I'll get 3 monarch butterflies.
Oh, isn't that beautiful? Girl,
Absolutely.
you are really contributing in a positive way to the environment.
And that was what he was all about. Saving the earth, saving the planet, saving the creatures
Yeah.
that live on it. And so I have definitely adopted that. I make sure to plant milkweed and hibiscus and things, clover, natural clovers, things that I know will attract them. Even over here, as we've got a tiny barn boy hanging out, this is onyx.
Okay.
Um, I just cleared this area out yesterday, and I need to hurry up and get these in the ground. This is coneflower. This is echinacea. If you get a cold or like buy cold medicine, if you notice it has echinacea in it, this is medicine right here. But it also is good for pollinators. So I'm getting ready to plant up this entire space with nothing but coneflower.
Because you're wanting to attract the butterflies, is that correct?
That's right. The
Yeah.
butterflies and the bees, absolutely. Try to
And
get them
and I
try to get
know
them some food and some safe space to grow and to pollinate.
okay. And I know that echinacea is also used for tea. You buy
Yes,
it, you make, have you ever made tea with it?
I have. I've made tea with all of the herbs that I grow here. My mint.
Okay.
I've actually added some basil to some tea once that actually had a really unique flavor. It was actually better than I thought it was going to be.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I tried a recipe from somebody and it was pretty good. So yeah, no, I definitely have made tea with pretty much everything, even my roses, which are not looking that great right now.
Okay.
But I've had rose hip tea. I've had my rose petals I've dried out for tea. So yeah, no, definitely.
Wow.
Now it's very hot in here, which is why I didn't start the podcast out in here. But this is my greenhouse,
Okay.
and just to show you right now, the temperature says it is 111.
Oh my goodness.
I haven't hung my shade cloth. I'm going to hang a shade cloth, and that'll bring the temperature down in here by like maybe 20 degrees, which is fine because a lot of this, well, everything I have in here is heat loving.
Okay.
So it wants it hot, it just doesn't want to fry.
Right. Right.
So I've got shampoo ginger growing in here, and you can actually make natural. This is native in Hawaii. You can make natural soap and like hair conditioner, hair shampoo with this.
Okay.
So I've got that. I've got a couple of pepper plants in here that I'm really proud of because they are 3 years old.
Oh wow.
I take them in the house every winter, bring them back out, and they literally keep giving me fruit.
Oh, isn't that
Bell peppers on
wonderful?
this side and jalapeno peppers on this side. They're both 3 years old.
Wow. Go ahead on, girl.
This is probably my favorite thing in here. This is rice.
Oh, rice, like rice, white rice.
Yep. I'm growing
Oh,
my own rice right down here. This is a hydroponic system, so I just keep filling it up with water because, rice, like in the rice paddies out in like in Vietnam and things, it's basically like a pond, a shallow pond that the rice grows in. So I had to create that environment. So yes, we are growing rice here on the south side of
now tell me
Chicago.
this. How do you harvest the rice? How? when do you
So
know that it's rice?
once it grows, it's going to grow up and out of these of its little leaves here, and it hangs over like wheat,
Okay.
and that's where the rice grains are. So after you let it, you snip, you'll cut down here at the bottom, let it dry out, and then you just gently roll your hand across the top of it, and the little rice grains just fall right out.
Oh my goodness, that is a what how on earth did you decide to grow some rice?
I, I'm one of those people who don't tell me no. And I was in a Facebook group and I was told, oh, you can't grow rice in Chicago.
Okay.
Well, that you just basically told me to go try to grow rice in Chicago. So I went on the internet and looked for the type of rice that you buy for seed. And
Okay.
this will be my third year growing it.
Wow. And like how much do you yield? Like for a pot or
So the first time I did it, I only literally got enough rice for like maybe a small toddler meal.
okay.
The second time I did it because got used to the technique and I understood spacing and things like that. I actually was able to grow enough to make an entire bowl.
Okay, nice.
This year, I'm thinking I should get maybe a bag,
Oh
like the
wow.
small bag that you will buy. I should be
Okay.
able to get an entire bag this year.
Okay. Nice. Wow. This is amazing. Show me more.
So let's see. Let me see. Oh, we haven't been up front yet. Got to
Okay.
go up front.
Okay.
And I can actually start back here.
Now,
This is a
as
this
I'm looking at all of this looks like this is could be expensive to do.
which is why I said one of my biggest hurdles was learning how to use what I already had. Like over here, I've got, and they're at the end of their season now because of how hot it is. But these were sugar snap peas, and
Okay.
I have them growing in a tote.
Okay.
I've got garlic over here that I can't harvest until the end of this month because it takes 8 to 9 months for a garlic bulb to form. And I planted this garlic literally New Year's Day.
Okay.
So, um, because garlic needs that, it needs a cold stratification period. It needs a cold period before it can bloom and grow. So I was like, let's plant it in January. So 8 to 9 months from January 1st, we can pull this out and we should have actual whole garlic bulbs. But this is another tote
Okay.
that I had to use. Um,
And where do you
this
get
is my
those? Like where would you get where would you get that?
Menards. Because I've got
Menard is like
Menards.
is that
I
like a
also
home
grow
is
in buckets.
Menard like
So
a Home Depot or what is Menards?
Menards, Home Depot, they are like the big box hardware stores, and so
Okay.
that's where I would get that from. That's where the totes have come from. Walmart
Okay.
carries them as well.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's
And
easy to
so
find things.
average price for that is like what, $3, $6?
For a tote that size, I believe, if I remember correctly, for the black one, I think just because it's a thicker plastic material, I paid almost $10 for that one. The pink tote, I think, was like 7.99.
Okay. Now do you have to drill holes in the bottom of them so they can drain?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Everything on this property has drainage except for the rice.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, no, the more holes, the better. I make
Okay.
everything look like Swiss cheese at the bottom.
Okay. Okay. So then that way you don't get a lot of root rot.
Absolutely. Because
Yeah.
that is number one killer of a plant is overwatering it or it not having the proper drainage and the roots are just sitting in soggy soil. They can't breathe, they can't get the air that they need, and the plant just dies.
I just recently went through that. That's why I know a little bit about it.
Absolutely.
Yes, not fun.
No. I'm
Mm,
going to show you the front.
okay.
Hello, tiny barn boy. This is my original one. He's been here for a year now. He's the one that showed up first. All of these cats literally just showed up on my property, by the way. I did not go buy them. I didn't adopt them. They adopted me. But he was the first. This is Asterisk, and I named him that because at that time he was a bonus cat.
Okay. Oh,
um, but yeah, they've been here for a year now.
okay. I
But
mean,
let
look
me
how
get
long I mean, if you just got vegetables and fruits all the way down. That is
up, yep,
amazing.
the entire length of the house. the entire length of the house. Um, this is basil next to my calla lilies.
Okay.
I've got up here, the boys love this. That is catnip.
Okay.
Yeah, you're gonna get wet there, friend. But yeah, I've got catnip up here for the boys. And I'm gonna run real quick so I can turn this water off so I don't get
Wow.
soaked
Look
while
how
I show you
beautiful.
guys.
It looks really, really pretty, very healthy.
There we go. Thank you so much. I
Yeah.
decided to do, like I said, the food landscaping this year. So mixed in with this is actual edible plants. So like this is rainbow chard.
Okay.
And then over here I've got which is gonna start to it's starting to lean because it's getting bigger. This is a cherry tomato plant. Both of these are black cherry tomatoes.
Okay.
So they're going to start bearing fruit soon. I've got my lilac bush here that, of course, has already bloomed for the summer. There's a bell pepper plant back there. I've got chard laced basically throughout this whole space. But
Okay.
this is definitely also about pollinators. This is butterfly weed, and
Okay.
that's cardinal flower. And both of those are out here to try to attract some butterflies to this space.
Okay.
This
Wow.
back here is another echinacea. It just hasn't bloomed yet. So yeah, no, definitely everything. They absolutely love these little flowers on the hostas.
Wow.
So
Wow.
yep, I've
Neat.
got I've got literally stuff everywhere. Even up against the fence, there is a mixture of wildflowers and Swiss chard throughout this
Okay.
whole line.
I mean, girl, there's not a piece of land unturned. So
So
this looks like a lot of work on top of,
it
like
is.
you said, so it's your work and your job. So it looks like a lot.
It is, especially if I add on, like I said, the vacant lot that I'm working on across the street. But it is honestly, it's a job of passion.
Okay.
And when you are, my mother taught me this a long time ago, and is I didn't listen to a lot of the stuff my parents told me, as most teenagers don't. But for some reason, this particular thing I heard, and I heard it loud and clear. She said, get a job that you love so that you are not miserable, hate going to work every day. Make it be something that you love so it doesn't feel like work.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I immediately listened to that by becoming a vet tech because I absolutely love animals. I have so much fun at work. The only time it's bad is if something bad is happening with a pet. um, but I thoroughly enjoy it. And so I also thoroughly enjoy this. And it makes it not as hard, especially now that I have found a balance in my schedule.
So now tell me this, because we talked about the mental uh aid that it does and along with your spirituality. Talk a little bit about how that started for you, how that helped you.
So it kept me in tune because I've also grown cotton in the past. I didn't grow it this year, but I have grown it like 2 or 3 years in a row. It kept me in tune with my ancestral history.
Okay.
My great grandmother is who had me out in the garden first.
Oh, wow.
So spiritually, it keeps me in tune with that connection. Um, it a lot of people, you have people who believe in God, you have people who don't. I understand both sides. I personally am a believer, and I feel like this also keeps me more closely connected to nature and to God and to God's creatures.
Okay.
So that just to see the life that is outside of your house, you only think about your family and your friends. You don't think about the crickets. You don't think about the praying mantis. You don't think about the squirrels. So like it keeps me literally in connection with all Earth's creatures and how imperative they are to all of our lives and how important they are just in their own existence.
Oh yeah, they keep the ecosystem going. It's definitely,
Absolutely.
yeah.
One of my cats followed me over to the vacant lot. They always follow me over here.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, no, it definitely keeps me connected. Mentally, there's a calming. Like right now, if I'm just quiet, if there's a silence, you hear the birds chirping, you can hear the wind blowing, you feel that sun, you smell the herbs, you smell the flowers. There is such a calming sense in it it's honestly kind of unexplainable. It's one of those things where I tell people you have to get out here.
To do it.
You
Absolutely.
have to get out here.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, no, because I garden and I know what it's like. I mean, I love when I get out there. It's like you lose sense of everything else around you and you're just
Absolutely.
focused on what's in front of you. And it is a beautiful
Absolutely.
moment. Yeah, it
It
is
is. It
beautiful.
truly, truly is. And all of my moments in my garden haven't been happy. I lost my best friend last year. He had a heart attack, and for like 2 days, I didn't hear from him, didn't know where he was, and I was absolutely freaking out. And I finally went to his apartment, and his property manager let me into his apartment because I was his emergency contact, and that's when I found him. And I was absolutely devastated by that.
Mm.
It's something that it walks with me every day. But what I did when I came home that day after the coroner came and that was all said and done, when I got back home that day, I went straight into my garden and I started pulling weeds and I broke down.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
In that moment, a monarch butterfly came flitting around. And I said, I know that's you, Tremaine. That was his name, Tremaine. I said, Tremaine, I know this is you because there ain't no way in the world this butterfly would show up right now in this in this moment. But it became therapeutic in healing behind grief. When
Yeah.
I would just sit and look at my phone and stare at the fact that he wasn't texting me anymore, I would shake it off and go outside and play with one of the plants, start weeding a patch, start watering, start pruning. I would do something. I would find something to get my hands on, something to pull my mentals and my heart away from what I was dealing with at that moment.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
So it's full circle out here.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is the lot that you're in right now.
I am here. Let me turn around.
So now, did you have to get permission from the city to take hold over this lot?
So if I'm going to be honest, I made the attempt. I spoke with my alderman several times. Um, and he did point me in the right direction as far as Chicago's development and planning department. However, there is so much red tape wrapped around these vacant lots in this area.
Okay.
There are, on this block alone, 4 vacant lots.
Okay.
This one I did research on has been vacant since April of 1988.
Oh, wow.
No developers have taken any interest in purchasing it. No one has shown any interest in doing anything over here other than dumping their garbage in the back or coming out here to drink and smoke and throwing then their bottles around this tree here. And I just honestly, because my house is across the street from it, I got tired of looking at it be a space of despair. So
So
I
what
decided,
are
you
you
know what, we're
growing?
going to get up and come over here and do something. My alderman does know I'm gardening on it. He said, hey, until the city says you can't be here anymore,
Okay.
be here. And what I am trying to do is I'm trying to lobby with a couple of the politicians in our area and our congressmen to get this area rezoned, because right now it's zoned for residential development. So they wanted specifically to buy a house. Even if I had the $8,000 to buy this lot, they only want to sell it to me if I'm going to build on it.
Oh, wow.
They don't want to sell it to me for urban agriculture.
Okay.
So, and there's so much red tape around that. They have a program where you can buy a vacant lot for $1 if you are a citizen of the city of Chicago. But you have to dedicate yourself to, like, I believe it's a 10-year commitment to grow on that lot for urban agriculture.
Wow.
However, they only have certain lots spaced out for that, and none of them are in my neighborhood.
Okay. So what are you growing here? What are you
Right
growing?
here, I actually need to pull this up. I've got cabbage growing here, and carrots. The carrots
Okay.
need to stay, but the cabbage doesn't. It's definitely time to pull that up. But I've got cabbage and carrots here. This was the first thing I started. I just threw this box out here. I said, I'm going to plant some stuff. Let's see what happens. And it grew to the rest of the space. where I've got 3 different varieties of tomatoes. This is a experiment that is kind of actually working, where you grow your tomatoes and peppers in nothing but water and fertilizer. So there's no soil in those buckets. It's just water.
Okay.
And I'm actually starting to, there's a pepper. Oh, and then there's another pepper.
Okay.
So I'm actually getting fruit off of it. But yeah, this is purely experimental because this is my first year growing with this method. And so I just wanted to see how it would go.
Okay.
And I'm learning how to tweak it. Back here, this is a storage area. There's nothing under here, but just stuff I'm keeping to work over here.
Okay.
I've got sweet potatoes here. And then back here, I wanted to I was going to do like a plethora of different vegetables and fruits, but I got stalled right here. And see, this is one of those incidents where you have to use what you have. You don't want to grow on a vacant lot in the soil that hasn't been tested because you don't know what's in the soil.
Ah, smart.
So everything, if you notice, everything's in pots, everything's in buckets. The things that are on the ground are actually in beds like this, and they have landscaping fabric on top of them and then soil on top of that. So nothing is in the ground.
Okay. Smart.
But because this space, this is the same chicken wire that is around the girls' aviary.
Okay.
um, I had 3 pots out here. I hadn't figured out what I wanted to put. Like, this is a cucumber that's growing ever so slowly, and I definitely need to water it. But I hadn't figured out exactly what I wanted to put in this space. So I said, you know what? Let's leave this natural for right now. This is our first year growing over here. Let's don't push yourself too hard and spend a bunch of money on technically a property you don't own.
Yes.
So
Yes.
this right now is just a space that I'm going to try to build on as I continue to try to actually purchase this lot.
Okay. Okay. All right. Now let's get you back where I can sit you down now.
Absolutely. We're walking.
This has
Come on
been
after.
so fascinating. So tell me, what is the how of the organization?
Now, that honestly is a question I'm not necessarily certain how to answer.
Okay.
Um, Break down for me what you mean in that question.
Well, what is your how going forward? Like what you said, you're going to work more with the aldermen and the other people to see if you can get
So yeah, no,
permission to.
so with that, I am going forward. I would like to see this grow into more of a community project
Okay.
because that was ultimately what I wanted to do with the vacant lot, was to bring this block, at least right now, together so that we can know our neighbors.
Okay.
We're actually planning an event on the vacant lot where we're going to have a DJ outside and just try to invite the neighbors out over to the vacant lot just to see what we were doing throughout the summer. Poke around for ideas. Let the neighborhood know that this wasn't just about me. This
Okay.
was a community collective effort that I wanted people to be able to get to cash in on or be in on. Specifically, when stuff over there starts blooming, I wanted to give it away.
Yes.
Hey, if you want some tomatoes, come over here and grab them. If you
Yeah.
wanted some peppers, come over and grab them. We even were discussing with this church here, um, possibly doing a community garden on a lot that they have on the next block. So I was trying in the future, I would like for this to be a more of a community effort. I would like for it to be more community based, more family based. I would like to be able to bring more kids specifically around to learn and to learn that their food doesn't come, it comes from the store,
Right.
but that's not where it comes from.
From right, right, right. And then they'll probably be able to help you in the garden, the community.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And no, and that was the plan. That's been the plan all along for the entire organization as well as the vacant lot, is to bring this, to make this a community effort.
So
So
if some,
going forward, like in the next 5 years, I would love to see either that lot purchased or a bigger lot in this neighborhood purchased and an actual community garden set up taking place where people came. You can sit and read your books, you can garden. Just a nice space for us to have in this neighborhood. And we live in a food desert right now. I don't think I mentioned that. In this area, there is 2 grocery stores, and if you do not have a car, you cannot get to them.
Yeah.
So healthy food is basically a hurdle. It's hard to get to. And I don't think that's fair at all. And that was another thing going forward, is to be able to get a space big enough to grow enough food to be able to disperse it around the neighborhood.
Yeah, no, I think that's definitely, wow, that's wonderful in terms of what you're doing. It's amazing what one person can do, and you've got it started. And
Absolutely.
that's definitely half the battle. And hopefully the more people that see this video, other people will start doing it in other communities because, the way stores are hiking up prices and adding additives and all this other stuff into fruits and vegetables, it's going to be really nice to be able to have something that you grow
Absolutely.
yourself, growing your own
That was
food.
another huge motivation for me, was knowing what I'm putting in my body.
Yeah.
So I know where this came from. I know what's in it. I know what went into it to grow it. I know its properties as far as that's concerned. And that was important to me.
Yeah.
We're getting questionable food from questionable places. Yeah, no. I'd rather have a clear conscience on knowing where it came from.
Oh, absolutely. So now, if someone was interested in starting their own community garden, what advice would you give them? What would you say to them?
I would say definitely don't necessarily gangster garden like I do and just go commandeer a vacant lot. um, but I'm also not against that, because sometimes the rebel gets what they want. And by that, I mean, if you work hard enough at it and you show the city or your village or wherever that you are how serious you are about that, you end up getting a backing that you didn't have before.
Yeah.
So I'm not necessarily against commandeering, but I would start the legal way by going to speak with your representatives, your state representatives, your aldermen, whoever is like in charge of government over your neighborhood, your village, and pitch the idea.
Yeah.
Hey, we've got this, go to one of the town meetings, because that's what I did. I went to a city meeting. Hey, we've got this lot over here at XYZ Street, and it's been sitting vacant for quite some time. We would like to develop it into a community garden and pitch the idea there.
Yeah.
That's honestly a best way to start. That's how I even got my name. Like when I call up to the alderman's office now, they know who I am. So you
Nice.
definitely want to start there. Start with your community as well. Specifically on this block, I wrote a letter letting everybody know who I was, what residence I stayed at, what I was trying to do, what I was trying to accomplish. And I literally trick or treated and passed that out to every house on this block.
Nice.
And it was so funny, like within a week, people were coming home from work or things, and they'd see me outside and they go, "Hey, I got your letter. Hey, I read
Oh,
your note. I think that's
nice.
excellent." And so definitely start out with community outreach as well. And even start at your own house. When people see what you're doing,
Yeah.
like I have that church across the street from me, and a lot of those the church attendees are in this neighborhood. So they come and go every Sunday, and they see the property developing and developing. And now they're like, okay, what are you doing over there?
Yeah.
And so now when you pique that curiosity, the children that walk by here when my chickens are out, they stop and they are those chickens? And so like the curiosity is piqued. And once you do that, you send somebody home, and now they're telling their mom, I went to Auntie so-and-so's house and her neighbor has chickens and she let me pet it. And now I want chickens. You plant the seed, you watch it grow.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so definitely it all starts at home as
Wow.
well.
That is so, girl, you have done quite a lot. Very inspirational. So let's take a breath because that was definitely an exploration. It was an
Indeed.
exploration of green goddess goodness. Yes, and that's your green is your color.
And it's funny because red is actually my favorite color. The
Okay.
color red is my favorite color. I'm a Sagittarius. I'm full of fire. I'm full of passion. But coming out of sobriety from alcohol, or coming into sobriety from alcoholism, and coming into this new phase of my life where my inner peace glows green.
Hence the
And
green
so
hair, right?
I just adapted it. I got the hair, I've got the cup. Like it speaks to me. So even though red is my favorite color and definitely the color of my spirit, the color of my growth is green.
Green goddess, baby. Green goddess all the way. So now I'd like to segue out and ask you, could you give me three people who have been inspirational in your life? And I know it's
Oh,
probably more, but three will do.
I'd have to say definitely number one, since we spoke on him already, Michael Jackson, most certainly. And I know people would be like, how's a celebrity? I was like I said, I was 3 years old when Thriller came out. I never looked at Michael as like a crush or like somebody I wanted to date or anything like that. He was always an inspiration of like I want to be like him when I grow up.
Yeah.
I want to be like that when I grow up. I want to be able to have enough money to help children and to throw fundraisers at my house where kids can come play and donate money to farms and to think all of so that he was a humongous inspiration for literally just how I live my life. I would have to say my other inspiration, if I could combine them, if I'm going to do three, if I could cheat and combine two into one, my parents.
Absolutely.
My parents, most certainly, specifically my father, because he went through alcoholism as well. And I watched him and my mom during his drinking, and I watched him and my mom after his drinking, and I watched both of them glow
No.
behind that. I
Okay.
watched her stick it out with him.
Mm.
I watched him fight it out. And so the two of them now are humongous inspiration. They're so cute together. But just looking at their life now versus what I know it was, they definitely have laid the groundwork for me to climb to the highest of heights. Third, honestly, my third inspiration, life wise, I'd say would probably be my son. And even though I have three kids, I have to say that I have three kids. Two of them came to me along life, my stepdaughters. But my biological son, the experience of being pregnant with him, having him, raising him, and now watching him be a father to his own daughter.
Mm.
He's he's what I say. I call him the best thing I've ever done in my life.
Okay. Okay.
He's my greatest success story. And so just watching him be okay is literally an inspiration for me, because when I have those down days, I can look at him and I go, but look at him. Look at how he turned out. Girl, you got this. You can do this. You did good with him. You can do good with this. So ultimately, um, and I have to put a bonus on my daughters because of where I got them from, and specifically my oldest daughter. She was my youngest stepdaughter's best friend. They met when she was like 9 years old, and when her mother passed away when she was 15, she immediately asked if she could live with us.
Okay.
And like literally in the funeral parking lot, she asked, "Can I come live with you?" That day, we took her clothes, we took her home. That was it. Watching her thrive and survive through the things that she had been through that led her to us in the first place. And now watching her raise my grandbaby, whose birthday is tomorrow, by the way.
Okay.
um, Again, it's like, wow, Andy, look at you helped this girl through a super traumatic and depressive point in her life. You have given her love and support. You got that strength in you, girl. Don't you doubt yourself. You can do it.
Oh, that's beautiful, girl. You have been just, wow, a soul survivor for real. Soul survivor
You
for
know what? And I used to be sad about it, sad about the things that I've gone through. I realized I wouldn't be here how I am if I hadn't have gone through those things. So I don't cherish them in a sense of, oh, I wish I could do that again. But I cherish the learning lessons and the blessings that have come from, oh, I tripped right there. Now I know to look before I walk right there.
Okay. Yeah. So now what would the 9-year-old Andy say to the grown woman Andy today?
If I, you know what, I ask myself that question a lot because I dealt with incredibly low self esteem and low self worth. When I was younger, I hated my forehead. And as you can see now, it's out and proud. It's out and proud. I hated my skin color. I had the colorism situation, you know, the lighter, the prettier. Um, all of those things. As 9-year-old Andy would look at me right now, she'd be shocked. Wow. Like, we've got all, we work with veterinarians and we got all these animals and all these flowers and we have our own house and, oh, and our hair is green. Like, this is exciting. This is cool. And I know that my 9-year-old self would look at me in awe. Whereas at 9 years old, I never thought I'd be this person.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, that's absolutely.
I never thought I'd be this person. So yeah, no, definitely. I think I would make 9-year-old Andy very, very happy. And a lot of my therapy and sobriety and happiness has come from resurrecting her.
Okay.
I'm 45 years old now. What I do is I retrofit. I think about all of the things that I couldn't do when I was 9 and the things that would have made me happy when I was 9, and I go do them. So now I
Okay.
have chickens, I have cats, I have plants. All of the things that I know would have cheered me up at 9, I have now. And I go back and I think about, you know what? I didn't have that when I was little. I'm going to go get it now. And I'm healing that inner child
Yeah.
through all of this.
So now, as we get ready to end the session, would you leave the audience with some words of wisdom of how important it is to having a connection with nature for your mental and spiritual well-being?
Oh, absolutely. You can't get away from nature. It literally is us. You can't deny its presence, its existence, or its importance. With that being said, just having a moment to be in tune with it reminds you of how special you are.
Mhm.
There are 6 million trillion billion people on this planet. So it's very easy to feel insignificant. But when you stand in your garden and you look at that little bug, that little ant that's crawling across the peony bud, that's agitating the peony leaves to open up and bloom and blossom, you realize everything has its importance and its place and is necessary in this world and on this earth. And I feel like when you feel like you're necessary, if you can look at that ant and realize how necessary he is, you can look in the mirror and realize how necessary you are.
Wow. Wow, that's very powerful. Well, Andy, thank you so much for being a guest on Straight Talking with Kelly and sharing all of this green goddess goodness, all the G's, green
Absolutely.
goddess
Thank you
goodness.
so much.
It has been such a wonderful journey watching you develop all of that you've done and sharing it and wanting to make it even bigger as a community project. You know, I wish you the best of luck with that. And I know moving forward, you're going to make it happen. There's no doubt in my mind that you won't be able to do more. So again, thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate talking to you.
Oh, absolutely. And to my audience, thank you for taking the time to watch and comment. I love hearing from you. I do my best to respond to as many as I possibly can. For the new visitors, if you enjoy what you see, please hit that subscribe button, like, and come back. This is Kelly with Straight Talking with Kelly, where real conversations happen. I'll look forward to seeing you again soon. All righty. So now I need to figure out how to turn it off. I always have that problem for some reason. They move things around and I can't see it. But
I
Andy,
was just on a
thank
Zoom
you.
meeting last night and was having trouble figuring out where the camera was, how to raise my hand and everything. I figured it out, but yeah, it took me a minute.
Right. And this happened to me the last time and there it is.